On the morning of July 31st, 2024, NYPD detectives flooded apartment buildings around Slattery Playground while half-asleep residents watched young Bronx drill rappers getting dragged downstairs in handcuffs. One apartment near East 183rd Street had barricaded doors reinforced from the inside, although officers eventually forced their way through before recovering pistols, phones, plus videos tied to years of shootings across Fordham Heights. Among the people led outside that morning was 18-year-old Nadine Asamoah, better known online as Nay Benz, the drill rapper with the missing finger whose songs already pulled millions of views across Bronx pages. That was Nay Benz when the case finally caught her. But before the raids, the story looked very different. The playground that turned into S Block Slattery Playground sat between crowded apartment buildings off East 183rd Street near the Grand Concourse, although people around Fordham Heights stopped treating it like a regular park long before the city understood what was happening there. During summer afternoons between 2020 and 2024, teenagers crowded staircases, rolled dice beside benches, filmed drill videos near handball courts, then watched rival crews through passing cars creeping around nearby corners. Most outsiders driving through Fordham Heights only noticed traffic, corner stores, loud music, packed sidewalks, plus old Bronx apartment towers, although local kids already understood invisible borders existed between certain blocks long before any shooting started. One staircase belonged to one crew, while another hallway belonged somewhere else, so crossing certain streets too comfortably could turn a regular afternoon into a chase before anybody realized what happened. That atmosphere became even uglier once Bronx drill music exploded online, since every insult posted through Instagram lives, YouTube comments, plus diss tracks eventually carried back into real neighborhoods filled with armed teenagers chasing respect. Around that same period, Bronx drill started moving differently from older New York rap scenes after younger artists borrowed Chicago drill energy while mixing it with local gang politics spreading across the borough. K-Flock became one of the biggest names coming out of the Bronx after records like Is You Ready pushed him into mainstream rap conversations, although local teenagers paid closer attention to the street politics surrounding those songs than industry success itself. Once rappers started mentioning real dead rivals inside records, disrespect stopped living online comfortably, especially after deaths like Nadine Asamoah turned Bronx drill into something even younger kids followed obsessively. Crews no longer represented only neighborhoods anymore, since names, logos, hand signs, dead enemies, plus social media pages started forming full identities that teenagers defended harder than school, jobs, or sometimes family itself. That same transformation happened around Slattery Playground once local kids twisted the park's name into Slattery, then started calling themselves S Block while posting pictures flashing signs around East 183rd Street. What started like another local Bronx crew eventually grew louder once shootings, robberies, plus internet attention started attaching real fear to their name around Fordham Heights. Nadine Asamoah grew up in that environment, while most details about her childhood stayed buried underneath later headlines surrounding gang conspiracies, shootings, plus drill music investigations. Her family came from Ghana. Her mother reportedly worked long hours supporting several children, plus relatives later connected another Asamoah family member named Rodney Asamoah directly to the same indictment. Before internet pages started calling her the female boss of Bronx drill, neighborhood kids already recognized her around Slattery Park, partly due to the missing finger she carried since childhood. Friends claimed the injury came from an accident years earlier, although the detail eventually became part of her image once videos started spreading online. By her mid-teens, as she had already moved around local drill circles recording music, appearing beside masked teenagers holding pistols, plus talking loyalty more than rap fame itself. Her path shifted harder after juvenile detention placed her inside Brookwood Secure Center upstate, which immediately increased her reputation once Bronx kids realized she came back home carrying actual jail stories instead of internet fantasies. Brookwood did not remove her from that world properly, since her name carried even more weight around Fordham Heights once she returned in 2024. Instead of coming home quietly, she immediately pushed records like Jail Freestyle plus Don't Run, which quickly spread through Bronx drill pages, reaction channels, plus neighborhood Instagram accounts, tracking street politics daily. Viewers became fascinated watching a petite teenager with a missing finger rap aggressively about loyalty, enemies, plus retaliation while standing around Slattery members throwing signs behind cameras. During her interview with What NYC Sounds Like, she spoke calmly throughout the conversation while discussing support systems, loyalty, plus returning home after detention, although the comments underneath mostly focused on whether she actually participated in violence surrounding S Block. She never presented herself loudly during that interview, which made the rumors around her seem stranger once prosecutors later accused her of directing younger shooters throughout Fordham Heights. While fans debated whether she was truly active or simply performing for drill audiences, several young men around Slattery had already started transforming neighborhood disputes into actual gun violence. One of the first major explosions happened on June 18, 2020, around Morris Avenue plus East 184th Street, after Nassim EBK King allegedly ran toward a crowd alongside Darrion Williams during a neighborhood gathering. People stood outside playing cards during the warm afternoon, while others relaxed nearby watching regular Bronx activity continue around apartment buildings packed tightly beside narrow sidewalks. According to investigators, EBK suddenly pulled a pistol and then opened fire repeatedly into the crowd while people scrambled through parked cars, trying desperately to avoid bullets flying across the block. 3 bystanders got hit during those shots, even though none reportedly belonged to the intended conflict, which immediately showed how reckless neighborhood retaliation had already become around Fordham Heights. Before residents fully processed the attack, word spread quickly that Darrion Williams himself got shot shortly afterward during retaliation linked to rival crews circling nearby streets. That entire sequence happened so quickly that neighbors barely separated one shooting from another afterward, which created the feeling that certain teenagers were living hour to hour without imagining consequences beyond the next afternoon. The violence kept building less than 1 month later, after Phoenix Fee Banger Charlie allegedly spotted somebody believed to be connected to rivals around East 194th Street plus Briggs Avenue during July 2020. Fee Banger already carried respect around younger Slattery members, partly due to his age, confidence, plus willingness to move aggressively whenever problems surfaced around Fordham Heights. According to investigators, he fired multiple shots toward the target, although bullets struck a passerby instead, adding another innocent victim to the neighborhood chaos, swallowing entire sections of the Bronx. Residents started recognizing a pattern developing around Slattery during those early years because shootings increasingly happened around regular people walking home, shopping nearby, or simply standing outside apartment buildings. That reputation made S Block seem reckless, even among other Bronx crews already familiar with gunplay, since several local gangs usually tried avoiding unnecessary civilian attention whenever retaliation happened publicly. While Fee Banger, EBK, Darrion, plus other young shooters kept building fear around Fordham Heights, Nay Benz quietly expanded her image online through drill music clips, interviews, plus viral neighborhood reposts that eventually carried the entire Slattery story far outside the Bronx itself. When the music started sounding too real, when Nay Benz came home from Brookwood during March 2024, she did not move carefully through Fordham Heights, trying to avoid attention from detectives already tracking S Block activity around Slattery Playground. Instead, she immediately returned online, dropping Jail Freestyle, which spread rapidly across Bronx drill pages where reaction channels replayed her lyrics beside surveillance clips, neighborhood rumors, plus old pictures connected to Slattery members. Viewers kept replaying the same details repeatedly since she still looked extremely young while sounding colder than older Bronx drill rappers, already carrying active street reputations around the borough. Her missing finger became part of the fascination surrounding her image after clips showed her gripping microphones, flashing hand signs, then rapping aggressively beside teenagers covering faces underneath hoodies. Some listeners treated the records like entertainment, while others believed tracks like Don't Run contained coded references toward actual shootings, dead rivals, plus retaliation plans circulating through Fordham Heights around that same period. That confusion became part of her popularity once internet pages started debating whether Nay Benz was genuinely active or simply performing another exaggerated Bronx drill persona for views. By the Bronx drill already stopped functioning like regular music since Instagram lives, YouTube comments, plus neighborhood gossip pages increasingly worked like extensions of active gang politics spreading across borough streets. Rival crews mocked dead teenagers underneath music videos, while anonymous accounts reposted shootings almost immediately after bullets stopped flying around apartment buildings or subway stations. Fans treated neighborhood wars between Bronx crews similarly to sports rivalries, picking sides through comment sections, while teenagers carrying real guns watched every disrespectful post from crowded staircases around Fordham Heights. That environment turned small local disputes into public entertainment once drill pages started clipping arguments between rivals, replaying diss songs, then spreading rumors connecting rappers to murders before investigators released any official information. Nay Benz fit perfectly inside that ecosystem, partly due to her image standing apart from other Bronx artists already competing for attention around 2024. Rumors spread constantly, claiming she ordered hits through younger shooters, while some neighborhood voices called her the female boss of Slattery, although others believed older gang members simply used her growing platform to amplify S Block's reputation around the Bronx. The female presence surrounding Slattery made the crew stand out further once investigators started describing how women allegedly participated beyond ordinary support roles usually connected to neighborhood gangs. Brianna Bree Rose Portalatin became one of the names tied directly to the indictment, while another 15-year-old female shooter allegedly fired repeatedly toward rivals, trying desperately to prove loyalty around Fordham Heights. Detectives later claimed younger girls handled lookouts, transportation, hidden firearms, plus surveillance around targeted blocks, while police attention stayed focused mostly toward teenage boys gathering publicly near Slattery Playground. Their strategy allegedly allowed S Block members to move weapons through neighborhoods more quietly, while social media pictures still showed young women posing comfortably beside guns, cash, plus masked teenagers. Internet discussions surrounding Nay Benz became even stranger afterward, since some viewers praised her aggressively while others watched the entire situation like a slow-moving disaster already heading somewhere ugly. Meanwhile, older names around the crew kept escalating neighborhood violence through robberies, stabbings, plus shootings that increasingly blurred together across Fordham Heights during late 2021 through 2023. One confrontation during November 2021 showed how quickly regular intimidation around Slattery allegedly turned physical once Dayron Derrier Williams confronted a teenage rival outside an apartment building while tensions already boiled across nearby blocks. According to allegations connected later to the investigation, Williams stabbed the teenager while Izzy Lugo plus Nay Benz allegedly appeared nearby, displaying firearms towards surrounding witnesses, trying carefully not to involve themselves. Nobody around Fordham Heights seemed shocked afterward, since neighborhood residents already understood many younger crews solved the disrespect publicly once social media arguments carried into apartment hallways or playground corners. That incident overlapped with another scheme involving Lugo, Fee-Banga, plus Daylon Sanchez, allegedly setting up rideshare drivers through fake Uber or Lyft requests around the Grand Concourse. Prosecutors later claimed the group pistol-whipped one driver, stole his vehicle, then posted videos online celebrating afterward while using stolen cars for additional street activity around the Bronx. Izzy Lugo became increasingly important around younger Slattery members, partly due to his age, connections, plus willingness to organize robberies, generating money, transportation, plus status for teenagers obsessed with appearing dangerous online. While those robberies unfolded quietly across Fordham Heights, Nay Benz kept expanding her audience through interviews, drill records, plus neighborhood repost pages, pushing her image deeper into Bronx street culture. The situation became even crazier during January 2023 once Phoenix Phi Banga Charlie allegedly carried violence directly into Bronx Hall of Justice, located around East 161st Street in the concourse section. Security checkpoints, court officers, plus metal detectors usually separated courthouse disputes from neighborhood retaliation, although investigators later claimed Phi Banga discovered ways around those protections before entering the building carrying scalpels hidden carefully past security. Inside the courthouse hallway, Charlie allegedly spotted rivals attending proceedings nearby before approaching aggressively alongside other Slattery associates during the afternoon confrontation. Prosecutors claimed he slashed a young woman across her abdomen badly enough, requiring 35 stitches afterward, while terrified court workers scrambled through hallways, trying desperately to contain the chaos unfolding upstairs. What made the situation even more reckless involved Phi Banga allegedly posted instructional videos online beforehand explaining how blades could move past courthouse metal detectors without immediate discovery from officers. Then, after the slashing happened, internet pages circulated allegations claiming he bragged online afterward, almost treating the courthouse attack like another successful neighborhood mission. That entire moment changed how investigators viewed Slattery, partly since attacking rivals inside Bronx criminal court suggested several members stopped fearing ordinary consequences entirely. At the exact same time, Phi Banga allegedly transformed courthouse hallways into gang territory. Nay Benz's visibility around Bronx drill culture kept growing larger through records, interviews, plus reposts flooding neighborhood pages daily. Fans argued endlessly over whether older Slattery members manipulated her image, while critics insisted her lyrics reflected real violence already damaging Fordham Heights. Some listeners focused mostly on music, while detectives quietly compared online videos against shooting timelines, geotags, plus conversations recovered throughout their growing investigation into S-Block activity. Those concerns became more serious after allegations surrounding a March 2024 shooting near a school bus carrying children around Fordham Heights. Prosecutors later claimed younger members received encouragement to catching up regardless of nearby civilians, as while shots erupted, frightening children ducking underneath bus seats during the chaos. One 9-year-old reportedly called 911 while gunfire echoed nearby, which finally convinced many neighborhood residents that the local beef no longer stayed contained between rival teenagers chasing internet respect. Even after that frightening incident, Slattery members allegedly continued posting videos, music clips, plus threatening messages online, while investigators quietly spent 18 months collecting surveillance footage, tracking social media activity, recovering weapons, and preparing the raids, eventually bringing the entire spotlight crashing directly onto Nay Benz, plus everybody surrounding S-Block: the dead kids, the drill wars, and the internet. On July 10, 2022, 17-year-old Calvin Aaron walked through Harlem near West 151st Street alongside his 15-year-old cousin, Supreme Shabazz, while summer crowds still moved comfortably around Amsterdam Avenue. That same day should have been Calvin's birthday celebration, although surveillance footage later captured masked gunmen rushing toward both teenagers before shots suddenly cracked through the block. Witnesses scattered immediately once bullets started flying, while Calvin collapsed near the sidewalk after multiple rounds struck him during the ambush. Supreme survived the attack despite injuries, although Calvin later died at the hospital, turning another New York teenager into a name spreading rapidly across drill pages before his family even processed what happened. Rumors started connecting the murder back to Fordham Heights almost instantly once online voices claimed Supreme's older relatives disrespected Slattery members through music, social media posts, plus neighborhood politics boiling between Harlem crews and Bronx rivals. Nobody publicly proved Nay Benz ordered anything connected to Calvin's death. Although internet gossip constantly dragged her name beside the shooting, once people realized S-Block tensions reached beyond Slattery Playground itself. Calvin's murder hit differently around Harlem, partly since friends described him less like an active gang member while remembering somebody interested in basketball, neighborhood friends, plus regular teenage plans outside street politics, consuming older crews. That detail made the situation uglier once theories spread claiming online disrespect from somebody else, allegedly placing Calvin directly in retaliation, and he barely understood himself. Around that same period, Bronx drill culture already transformed neighborhood tensions into public entertainment, where disrespect traveled faster than actual gunfire once Instagram clips reached thousands within minutes. Fordham Heights, Tremont, Harlem, plus nearby Bronx sections increasingly connected through music videos, diss tracks, repost pages, plus revenge cycles that teenagers followed obsessively through phones every single night. Young crews no longer needed physical proximity before beef escalated, since insults posted online carried directly into subway stations, apartment lobbies, plus street corners throughout New York neighborhoods. By late 2022, teenagers involved in drill culture already treated social media almost like neighborhood territory itself, where deleting disrespect looked weak while responding violently built reputation faster than ordinary music success. That same atmosphere surrounded another killing months later after 14-year-old Prince Shabazz got shot outside his Tremont apartment building in August 2022 while standing near his 16-year-old brother, Supreme Shabazz. Investigators later alleged several Slattery-connected shooters opened fire, aiming for Supreme after social media disrespect connected back toward another murder already circulating through Bronx drill pages. Instead, Prince caught the bullet, although prosecutors later recovered messages where suspects allegedly complained afterward that they hit the wrong kid during the shooting. That detail haunted people around the case, partly since Prince was 14 years old, while older teenagers around him already moved through a retaliation cycle, treating death almost like unfinished business between rival crews. Friends remember Prince differently from the internet gossip surrounding drill politics, while family members struggled publicly with how quickly another teenager disappeared over disputes beginning online before reaching actual streets. Those killings revealed something darker happening around New York drill culture, since younger kids increasingly inherited conflicts started earlier by older rappers, neighborhood crews, plus social media personalities chasing clout around borough politics. Quietly sitting underneath all those allegations remained another uncomfortable reality, since Nay Benz herself was still technically a teenager, while prosecutors claimed she encouraged younger members to move recklessly around Fordham Heights. The wider Bronx drill environment became even more toxic after 14-year-old Ethan Reyes, better known online as Nadine Asamoah, got stabbed inside a Manhattan subway station in July 2022 after confronting a rival teenager. His death immediately exploded across social media, while grieving videos, diss tracks, plus arguments flooded YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, plus Bronx gossip pages within hours. Then records like Naughty Bop appeared afterward, turning the teenagers' killing into viral dances, mocking lyrics, plus internet jokes repeated endlessly across social media platforms, rewarding outrage with millions of views. That moment changed drill culture further, since younger artists realized disrespect generated traffic faster than ordinary music promotion, and while dead rivals suddenly became permanent content online. Some Bronx teenagers started measuring success through viral reactions connected directly to neighborhood violence, while fans outside New York treated active gang conflicts like reality television unfolding through music videos daily. Around that same period, rumors briefly dragged mainstream Bronx rapper Lil TJ into conversations surrounding Slattery after internet blogs falsely claimed he was directly connected to the indictment. The rumor eventually collapsed, although the confusion showed how quickly gossip blurred criminal investigations, rap entertainment, plus neighborhood politics together once social media pages chased engagement before facts. While internet audiences argue constantly over diss songs, shootings, plus rumored gang ties, investigators quietly spent months studying how Slattery documented itself online almost obsessively. Detectives monitored Instagram lives where masked teenagers flashed pistols around Slattery Playground, while YouTube videos captured members rapping directly beside blocks connected to shootings under investigation. Geotags, timestamps, plus reposted clips gradually allowed investigators to place certain members near incidents prosecutors later attached directly to S-Block activity around Fordham Heights. Instead of relying heavily on traditional informants, detectives allegedly watched the crew expose itself repeatedly through drill records, comments, live streams, plus neighborhood pages reposting everything immediately after violence happened. Assistant Chief Jason Savino later described the Grand Concourse stretch tied towards Slattery as a corridor of carnage. Although investigators already understood that violence spread far beyond one neighborhood, once Harlem, Tremont, plus Bronx rivalries connected online constantly, surveillance teams slowly mapped the structure surrounding S-Block, identifying shooters like EBK, older figures like Izzy Lugo, aggressive members like Fee Banga, plus younger recruits moving around women acting as lookouts, drivers, or social media amplifiers. Every arrest, reposted clip, recovered firearm, plus online argument gradually filled missing gaps until investigators finally understood how deeply music, internet clout, plus real violence blended together around Slattery. Meanwhile, Nay Benz kept moving publicly like pressure was nowhere near collapsing around her, despite investigators already building cases quietly through 2023 into summer 2024. Her interview with What NYC Sounds Like stayed online while Jail Freestyle plus Don't Run continued circulating heavily across Bronx drill pages, replaying lyrics beside rumors surrounding active shootings. Supporters defended her aggressively, claiming police targeted drill artists unfairly, while critics pointed toward dead teenagers, frightened residents, plus videos appearing too closely connected to actual violence unfolding around Fordham Heights. Around Slattery Playground itself, younger kids still gathered around benches recording videos, although detectives had already prepared coordinated raids targeting apartments connected to the crew. Some members allegedly continued posting threats online without realizing investigators tracked locations, relationships, plus communication patterns through phones recovered gradually across the investigation. By July 2024, the structure surrounding Slattery had already started collapsing quietly behind the scenes, although most people around the Bronx still only saw Nay Benz as another rising drill rapper carrying controversy, internet buzz, plus a dangerous reputation spreading rapidly through New York streets. The raid, the case, and what was left after. Before sunrise on July 31st, 2024, NYPD teams moved quietly through Fordham Heights while investigators surrounded apartment buildings connected to Slattery members around East 183rd Street, plus nearby sections of the Grand Concourse. Doors got smashed open almost simultaneously while young defendants stumbled downstairs wearing handcuffs as neighbors crowded windows, trying carefully to understand why entire staircases suddenly filled with armed officers. Inside several apartments, detectives recovered pistols, extended magazines, phones packed with drill videos, plus group chats allegedly discussing shootings stretching across 4 violent years around Fordham Heights. Officers also seized social media evidence showing masked teenagers posing beside firearms while threatening rivals directly through Instagram stories, live streams, plus YouTube clips that investigators already spent months analyzing quietly. That same operation expanded beyond Slattery itself after police also targeted members tied to the 1300 investigation, bringing total arrests above 30 people connected to Bronx gang violence investigations unfolding simultaneously. By the time the raids finished, the same teenagers who spent years posting threats online suddenly sat chained inside precinct holding cells, while detectives organized weapons, screenshots, plus surveillance footage collected throughout the investigation. The spotlight quickly returned toward Nay Benz, partly since most New Yorkers still struggle to understand how an 18-year-old female drill rapper ended up connected to allegations involving 14 shootings plus organized gang activity. Her song still circulated online, while clips from Jail Freestyle plus Don't Run continued pulling views even after police dragged her through crowded sidewalks outside the 50th precinct. Investigators pointed toward her online presence repeatedly while discussing allegations that she helped encourage younger members involved in S-Block operations throughout Fordham Heights. That detail looked stranger once internet users rediscovered her Instagram disclaimer claiming she did not promote or participate in gang violence, despite prosecutors accusing her of helping direct attacks around the Bronx. During the public announcement afterward, officials described sections of the Grand Concourse tied towards Slattery as a corridor of carnage, while comparing the violence surrounding young shooters to a dangerous competition escalating recklessly through neighborhood streets. Charges across the indictment included conspiracy, attempted murder, robbery, assault, plus weapons possession, while prosecutors argued several defendants treated shootings almost like regular daily activity instead of life-changing crimes affecting entire communities. The arraignments afterward revealed how young many defendants actually were, once names like Bree Rose, Shiloso, JoJo, Benito Buxton, plus several unnamed juveniles started entering Bronx courtrooms, facing charges potentially carrying decades inside prison. Some defendants received high bail amounts, while others, including Nay Benz, Bree Rose, Joseph Hillary, plus Shilos, all got remanded completely without bail due to prosecutors describing them as major figures inside the investigation. Around social media, arguments exploded immediately once supporters defended Nay Benz as another Bronx teenager shaped by violent surroundings, unstable neighborhoods, plus drill culture rewarding dangerous behavior with internet fame. Critics pushed back hard, especially after details involving school bus shootings, dead teenagers, plus wounded bystanders during retaliation became publicly connected to Slattery activity. That divide reflected a bigger argument surrounding Bronx drill itself, since some listeners viewed the music as ordinary storytelling, while others believed records, live streams, plus disc clips actively fueled neighborhood violence already spiraling across New York. Meanwhile, several younger defendants, barely old enough to vote, suddenly faced adult criminal systems built around allegations stretching back to shootings happening when some members were only 14 or 15 years old. After the cameras left Fordham Heights, Slattery Playground still remained sitting quietly between apartment buildings near East 183rd Street, although almost everybody tied closely to the park ended up dead, injured, jailed, hiding, or waiting for trial afterward. Calvin Aaron never made it past 17 after masked shooters killed him in Harlem on his birthday, while Prince Shabazz died at 14 after allegedly becoming the wrong target during another retaliation cycle. Nadine Asamoah's killing kept echoing through Bronx drill culture, while songs mocking dead teenagers continue spreading online long after funerals finished across New York neighborhoods. Fee Banga faced allegations connected to shootings, plus the courthouse slashing, while EBK, Izzy Lugo, Darier, Bree Rose, plus younger recruits all became names attached to one massive conspiracy investigation. Through all that chaos, the image most people remember still involved the girl with the missing finger screaming outside the precinct, while reporters crowded around cameras during July 2024. Nay Benz allegedly built her reputation through the same violence investigators claimed eventually destroyed her future, although the internet helped magnify everything once local Bronx pain became content, consumed daily by millions watching safely from outside those neighborhoods. Then, after the indictments finally dropped, the same drill videos, Instagram clips, live stream arguments, plus lyrics that originally made Slattery famous, suddenly turned into evidence sitting inside prosecutors' files waiting for trial.